Have you ever heard of a village that vanished without a trace, an entire community gone? No sign of a struggle, no footprints in the snow, not a single clue as to what happened. This is the chilling mystery of Angikuni Lake, one of the most baffling disappearances in Canadian history, and it remains unsolved to this very day. Picture this, it's 1930, deep in the frigid wilderness of northern Canada. The air is cold, and the landscape is silent, save for the crunch of snow under the boots of a fur trapper named Joe LaBelle. Joe was familiar with these parts, and he knew the village by Angikuni Lake well. A small Inuit community, bustling with life, always ready to welcome travelers. But on this day, as Joe approached the village, something felt off. He couldn't hear the usual sounds of life, no distant laughter, no barking dogs, no voices calling out. As he got closer, the eerie silence grew heavier, almost suffocating. Joe's heart started to race, his instincts telling him something was terribly wrong. When he finally arrived, what he found was like something out of a nightmare. The village was completely deserted. Imagine walking into a place that should be filled with life, but finding it frozen in time instead. Huts stood eerily quiet, their doors swinging open, food left sitting on tables, untouched. It looked as though the villagers had just stepped out for a moment, leaving everything behind as it was, but no one ever returned. LaBelle searched every corner of the village, desperately hoping to find anyone, but there was no trace of the villagers. No footprints in the snow, no signs of a struggle, no bodies, nothing. It was as if the entire population had simply vanished into thin air. What makes this story even more unsettling is what LaBelle found next. In the snow outside the village, he came across the bodies of several sled dogs, famished and frozen, still tied to their posts. These animals were essential for survival in the harsh Arctic conditions. So why would the villagers abandon them to die in such a cruel manner? And here's where things get even stranger. LaBelle noticed something peculiar in the distance. Strange, blue light shimmering on the horizon, dancing in the sky. These lights have since been reported by other witnesses, and over time, some have speculated that what Joe LaBelle saw that night wasn't natural. The fur trapper, now terrified and convinced something horrible had happened, raced to the nearest telegraph office, miles away, to report what he had found. Authorities eventually arrived at Angikuni Lake to investigate, and they confirmed LaBelle's terrifying account. The village was empty, the people were gone, and no explanation was in sight. Theories, as you can imagine, began swirling immediately. What could cause an entire village to disappear overnight, leaving everything behind? Some believed it was the result of a mass migration. Perhaps the villagers were forced to flee due to starvation or an impending natural disaster. But if that were the case, why were there no footprints, no trails, and no sign of where they went? One of the most chilling theories, aliens. Yes, you heard that right. Some believe that the strange blue lights spotted near the village weren't just an eerie coincidence, but a clue pointing to extraterrestrial involvement. Could the people of Angikuni Lake have been abducted by something otherworldly? It's a wild theory, but one that has stuck with this mystery for decades. Others point to more supernatural explanations. Could the village have been cursed? Some believe that Angikuni Lake is tied to Inuit folklore, where spirits and forces beyond human understanding roam the wilderness. Could these forces have taken the villagers into another realm, never to be seen again? But then there are the skeptics, those who insist that the answer is far more grounded. Some believe the village never existed in the first place, claiming that the story was nothing more than a legend spun by the media. Others suggest the villagers may have relocated quickly due to food shortages or harsh weather, though that still doesn't explain the lack of tracks or signs of panic. And let's not forget the tragedy of the sled dogs left to die without food, still tethered to their posts. If the villagers had simply left, why wouldn't they take their vital companions with them, or at least untie them? To this day, no one has been able to offer a concrete answer to the mystery of Angikuni Lake. It's a story that seems to defy logic and explanation. How does an entire community vanish in such a remote location without leaving a trace? So, what really happened at Angikuni Lake? Was it a tragic, natural event that forced the villagers to abandon their home, or something far more sinister, perhaps even paranormal? One thing's for sure, the mystery of Angikuni Lake remains one of the most perplexing unsolved disappearances in history, and it continues to spark debate and imagination to this very day. If this story has intrigued you, let us know your thoughts in the comments. What do you believe happened to the villagers of Angikuni Lake? Could this be the work of extraterrestrials, or is there a simpler explanation that we've overlooked? Thanks for joining us on this journey into the unknown. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss out on more fascinating mysteries from around the world. Until next time, stay curious, because in a world full of questions, sometimes the strangest answers are the ones we never see coming.